Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have in the top left spawning as our Red Terran player playing for Team Kaisi Gaming. It is Spirit. And in the bottom right as our Blue ZERG player playing for Team Kaisi as well. It is Reynor as we've landed on a golden map here. Neo-Humanity, funnily enough without a gold base, but with a rich Vespene geyser here in this forward maybe 5th or 6th base in this particular matchup. We've seen it used as a 4th in the ZERG versus Protoss matchup. But against Terran, I think this base might be a little bit difficult to hold. So I'm anticipating this as, I guess a 5th is a possibility, but most likely it's going to be a 6th base. But that's a worry for later. As for now, let's take a look at the build orders of both of these players, as we have a standard barracks into gas opener for Spirit and a hatchery first coming out of Reynor. Last game these two played that I watched, and we saw Reynor open up with a 6-ling 16 pool and surround the Reaper of Spirit immediately at the start, which was an interesting way to go about it. Reynor did end up losing that game to Spirit in a mid to late game scenario in which Ghost, Mines, and a lot of Marines and Marauders played a significant role. For now, though, it's going to be a Reaper coming out of this barracks, and we'll have to wait and see what this Reaper is going to be capable of achieving. Is it going to be able to move across the map, kill a couple of lings, or just going in for a scout, maybe try to damage a queen? We'll have to figure that out. There's for the people that are not aware, there's some gold mineral patches. I guess there is some gold mining on this map. There's 8 mineral patches here that block entrance towards this base, which can be kind of tricky to defend. You have a high ground over here where tanks fare rather well. A small little choke as well. Flankability is not that great because this ramp is relatively small. So, yeah, it can be a tricky map, I think, for ZERG to even take a 5th base or a 4th base. And in the late game, it also becomes very, very hard for ZERG due to these watchtowers just controlling a large portion of the map. And I think that often results into either hyper-aggressive playstyles out of ZERG or a focus on Mutalisk, which can kind of undo the architecture of the map. Where usually it's a fairly easy map to camp on. Mutas, of course, can make a difference there in breaking bases, doing all that type of stuff. Reaper does not quite end up dying, but gets pretty darn close as a creep tumor gets landed here on the edge of creep. 3rd base on the way already for Reynor, who's actively pushing his creep out. Where's the next queen? Queen's going up in the main base. That feels fairly late, though. There's only 2 queens out. Usually that 3rd queen starts a little bit faster. Not this time, though. Slow start on that queen. So we have a 3rd CC coming down. We have the... Ooh, look at that. It's going to be a double factory play here coming out of Spirit. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going into mech. Spirit is not a mech player. Generally, he prefers bio. And this is one of those build orders that actually transitions relatively okay-ish into bio. Yes, your medeffects with Marines are out a little bit slower, but it is definitely a very playable thing. It's most likely going to be Blue Flame Hellion. And some big pressure with that. Like 2 groups of Hellions, perhaps, trying to roast as many drones as they can. And then a follow-up with Stim. Bunch of Marines. It's kind of what I'm expecting. Yeah, we're seeing a tech lab here on this barracks and no 3rd factory. So it feels to me like that's what it's going to be. It doesn't smell like mech. And Spirit is not a mech player, honestly. So yeah, 2 Hellions here are not patrolling. They're just hold positioning the ramp right now, making sure that no links can pass. Playing a little bit of Gandalf over here. As the wall starts at the front right now. Layers on the way, and spores probably start soon as well. We'll have to wait and see how Reynor is going to approach defending something like this while having very little information as to what is happening. Because let's face it, he has no info whatsoever. I mean, he has an overlord over here, which could potentially go and scout. I mean, is there even a Marine? There's 2 Marines, so I guess these are the force, the scouting denial force. Oh, these 2 cars in a little bit of trouble. 1 Hellion gets taken out for free as 3 queens bounce around after being hit by a grenade. But it's not the end of the world, of course. Life regeneration will take care of that. Here come the extra barracks into play, and we have 9 Hellions right now. Coulda, shoulda, woulda been 10, but it's only 9. with Blue Flame, it's always going to be an issue. There's only 5 links out currently, 8 queens, but only 2 of them in position. There's still a queen in the natural and a queen in the main, so 4 queens for the defense. And here comes the grand review. Blue Flame Hellion. How many worker kills are necessary here to kind of provide the value for Spirit to go into a normal mid-game? I want to say at least 18, 19 workers. That's not quite what is happening, and he's getting a mere 10. And every single one of these Hellions is going to end up going down as well. 13 drones. All Hellions will end up dying. Not that many links have been constructed. Did he just cancel? I think he wanted to go for a Hydra then canceled it and started a Spire. So a change of opinion here. And he's also still only on 5 gas. So it definitely feels like his plan was to go for a Hydra then. And now maybe feels forced to go into Spire. 62 drones already. As he's building 2 Evo chambers, 3 gases at the same time. If you're playing Muta, I wouldn't mind taking this as a fort. You're playing very heavy on the control aspect anyway. So if you get those Mutas out, having a double Vespene Geyser is fantastic, of course. Or the rich Vespene Geyser it's called. But yeah, it might a crap ton of money. Or a crap ton of gas. 5th base is going to be taken over here on the far left. It seems like as these mineral patches are being attacked by the drones. As well as 1-1 starting right now. Interesting stuff. Spire here, a little bit over 60-70% done. As a Baneling Nest is just now on the way after 1-1. So Reynor feeling fairly comfortable in his position that he can just get his Mutas out first and then go for the Banelings, I guess. Feels somewhat scary though. There's 14 Marines, there's Stim. Combat is 20, no, not even, it's like what, 15 seconds away from finishing? It was actually 20 when I said it. I should have stuck with my original opinion again. Fort CC on the way, Armory coming down as well. There's a lot of cash in the bank for Reynor. So there is money for Mutas. But I'm not sure if money for Mutas necessarily means that you want to be building them as well. Spirit here takes out a couple of creep tumors. As the 5th base is indeed being taken on the rich Vespene Geyser. Feels like it's a little bit out of position. Maybe too far to the left, but maybe this is normal. It's hard to say for me. Failing speed not quite done. Queens moving forward. Lots of transfuses are available. Need to come in quick, and they are coming in quick and clutch. Don't think you want to tank this with queens. He is going to tank this with queens. He's definitely going to be tanking this with queens. Mine gets blasted there. Links coming in. Big hit there. Out of that mine. I think killing 8-9 links. Then 2 Banelings suicide into it as well. So overall pretty darn decent trade there for Spirit. Reynor is building his first Mutalisk right now. As we see the 1-1 upgrade getting closer to finishing, we see Centrifugal Hooks about 20 seconds away too. There's 5 mines here. Medevac count perhaps a little bit low. Wouldn't mind seeing Medevac 3 and 4 popping out. See Medevac 3 over here, but it's not with the army. And here comes the attack. Centrifugal Hooks not done yet. I think Reynor wants to wait for that, but he also doesn't want to lose his 5th base. So he needs to stall a little bit of time. I guess Spirit is helping him by not attacking this all too fast. Here comes the Centrifugal Hooks, finishes up. As the Lings and Bane start streaming in. 1-1 has finished for both players, so it's an evenly upgraded fight. In which Spirit barely manages to escape. There's no turrets yet anywhere, but there's a couple of Marines at home. Not so sure if that's enough. Seems to be enough. Tank over here for Marines in a bunker as well. Do we have turrets on the way? 1 in the main, 1 in the natural. And, well, that is about it, really. I don't think the turret in the main is going to end up finishing up in time. There's 5 Marines here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Marines. We still have this push moving forward as well. So Spirit all over the map right now. Retargeting with the mine. Only gets a single Bane and good control out of Reynor. But the Medevac gets taken out. And that means that these Marines are going to be left behind. Muta still bouncing from the main to the forward. From the forward to the third. From the third to the natural. Ping pong, ping pong. And then eventually maybe even try to go for a kill here on this planetary fortress as it is falling rather low. There is a link force on the map as well that could assist with this, but a lot of forces right now gathering at this base. Ideally, Spirit manages to kind of shut off this general part so that bouncing into the main base for these Mutas is going to be close to impossible. +2 has started for Spirit, but no +2 armor yet, and that could be an issue. Thor is on the way. Do we have the extra barracks yet for the Terran player? There's 6 and there's 2 more that are in production but are being halted. I'm not sure where they are. Okay, there's 1 here. Okay, maybe just one more in production that's being halted right now. So it's going to go up to 7 barracks. No Ghost Academy quite yet. Here comes the move out. Drilling Claws has finished up, but it's only triple mines. Couple of Marauders for tanking against these Banes. Not the greatest control. Out of Spirit, who ends up losing a bunch of Marines. This fight is still partially on creep, as there's one creep tumor here that's being rather annoying and providing a lot of speed for all these Lings and Banes. Single drop heading on towards the far right side. That's going to be 4 mines. Without a Spore in this base, could potentially deal some damage. Let's take a look at the first person here out of Reynor. Let's see what he's looking at. Lose a couple of workers here. Not the Underworld. Now sees another drop coming in. I think he's ready. Yes, he pulls away and sends in the Lings immediately. Drilling Claws not quite good enough to get anything done here. And the Mutas pop in over. 17 Mutas quickly disposing of that Medevac with the mines. And that is a big call. Ooh. Hydra then as a follow-up here. Is this 5th base going to get sniped? Can we get a pickup? It's only 3 Medevacs. Once again, this creep tumor providing a lot of value. Not only in speed, but also in vision. I think that Spirit is pushing a little bit too hard over here. Lurker then is starting as well right now. It's a little bit of a weird transition here coming out. It felt like we're going into mass Muta, but I guess not really. Mines get targeted down. That's going to be a dead Medevac. Dead SCV. And a dead barracks over here. Which was going to be the 8th barracks. Refinery will get blasted as well. This is a fairly odd composition that we're watching here. Not entirely sure about this all. It just seems weird. Mutas and Lurkers don't have a lot of synergy usually. Adrenal Glands has started right now. Do we have any Hydra upgrades? No. It almost feels like a ZVZ game. The way that he's playing. Like sometimes people play like this with Muta. Let's get like 18, 19 Mutas, then transition into Lurker and range upgrades to go into like the Lurker Hydra Viper in ZERG versus ZERG. But I don't think I've ever seen this before in ZERG versus Terran. He hasn't built any yet, so maybe it's just a tool to defend outside bases. That's a possibility. Here come a lot of Lings. Are going to be taken out by these Marines. These Mutas are going pretty ham, but don't really get any kills. Just denying building on this barracks temporarily. One Muta will not end up dying. And this army probably gets taken out. Oh my god, this survives with what, 6-5 HP. And I think Spirit here wants to kill it. Gets the kill with the Marauder. Beautiful stuff. And now we have a single drop heading towards the right side. But Mutas are coming in. That means that these triple Medevacs most likely are going to get taken out. And I think that Reynor realizes that this was merely like a decoy drop, basically. Still needs to deal with it, though. And it's going to send over the Mutas back home. 11 Hydras, Seismic Spines on the way. Still upgrades going into the Muta list, so probably wanting to keep those alive, I guess. Just a bit of an odd game so far. A bit of an odd game. 5th base being taken right now for Spirit. As these queens move out on the map as well. 11, what is this? So rather than using Banelings... Wait, we're even getting a second Spire? Okay, now I'm truly getting confused. Maybe he forgot that he already has a Spire, wants to get a greater Spire? Wants to play like Lurker, Brute, Muta, Ling Bane? It is a really odd composition. Like Carapace upgrades, I guess, are nice to have, but not super important. 2 more gases coming in as well here on that 6th base, I think it is. 7th base being taken. This feels like it's definitely out of position. Should be 1 hex towards the right, I believe. Seems too far off. What even is the end goal here, I'm wondering. I don't quite know. I'm just a little confused as to what this army is going to be doing. Like, are we just playing a macro game from here? Or is this like an aggressive push? We see +3 on this Spire. Where's the second Spire? Oh, it got cancelled? Yeah, so that must have been a mistake. There's also 2 Lurker Dens. This is one of the weirdest setups I've seen in my life. Here come the Lurkers. This seems like a theory-crafted composition. No, with a notepad and a pen deep in the night. Come home after 5 beers. You're like, you know what would be sick? This. It's actually doing a decent job, though. No ghost in position. And I guess there's no tanks. Who builds tanks against Ling Bane Muta? Absolutely no one does. This actually is quite interesting. So, if Terran stays on the perfect army against Ling Bane Muta, they're going to get surprised by the Lurkers. Lurkers, they morph quickly. So the ghosts are a necessity here. Ghosts are an absolute necessity. If you don't have ghosts, I don't think you can beat this. Now there's a A crap ton of upgrades still coming in. 19 more Mutalisks as well being constructed. Starts flying a bit towards the right side. Brings the total back up to 26. There's an Overseer. And if you have +2 upgrades, you can snipe these turrets. Basically one-shotting them. There's no +3 armor yet here for our Terran player. Sensor tower gets thrown down here. The Rich Vespine Geyser is being mined from with 2 SCVs. This is a large Muta count. So I think the plan here is to kind of bounce between the 2 comps. And then always force out the wrong response. Because they require completely opposite responses almost. I guess the Ghost is the kind of the overlapping factor that counters everything. But the factory units are fairly different. And now these Mutalisks are going absolutely ham here. Taking out more and more units. I even think that this Muta count can take out these turrets and go for a complete kill. There's no more Ling Bane available though. And there's nothing else available either. So maybe these Mutas need to go home and defend. Or maybe a base trade is the correct play. Lots of cash left over in the bank. Resources lost is actually very close here. So you get the advantages of the high eco Muta. And also the advantages of the well-trading Lurker boys. Command Center's gonna get spotted here and gets taken out at a very high pace. +3 Mutas don't mess around. There's what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mines right now. 11 Ghost out as well. This is a large army. That's the one thing I will say. It's not necessarily the perfect army, but it's a very, very large army. And honestly, against what he's fighting right now, it seems like pretty much a perfect composition. 3 Lurkers might ruin the party a little bit. As these Ghosts over here are sent out to deal with the Mutas. Let's have a look. Do these Mutas want to engage into this? Always feels like against pure Ghost you can. Because you can cancel the snipes by attacking it. More Lurkers on the way, as well as more gases here. We continue expanding upwards here on towards the 1 o'clock. Base count definitely favorable here for ZERG. Ooh, Ghost falling. Snipes. Ooh, not gonna get connected. This is the first time I've ever seen no connections. So Mutas fly in and then apparently can fly out without getting hit if the Terran is a little bit slow with using the snipe. Which is interesting. Lurkers moving in over here will be capable of forcing this base to lift, but as the Mutas aren't in position, they won't be capable of sniping this. +3 Mutas really, they pack a punch. This is such a weird comp, and I love the way this works. Just the constant kind of little engagements with the Lurker Bane, and then you have the Mutas to force the army home, and you want Thors, but you don't want Thors, and this is a brilliant comp. I've never seen this before. Oh my god, Lurkers here absolutely destroying this game. GG gets called here as Reynor wins the game. Units lost, there's 21 Mutas gone, but this felt relatively easy. Look at the overall resources lost. Terran just lost more. And it was so easy as well to just take every single base. Neo-Humanity definitely is one of the better Terran maps in the current map pool, but our ZERG player here made it look easy. That's going to be it for me today. I'm curious if we're going to see more of this strategy in the future. And if we do, if there's going to be some better counter. I'm thinking that you need to play like some ultra defensive, lots of turrets, many Ghost type of style. But you still always have the risk of the Mutas flying by somewhere. Like, there are so many major threats, and the fact is that Lurkers can just trade efficiently as well. That's a problem. It's crazy. It's a wild composition, that's for sure. Because you want tanks, but against Mutas you don't want tanks. And you want Thors, but against Lurkers, Thors are useless. So, what are you getting? Like, Marine Marauder, Mine Ghost? Seems like the best comp, but didn't seem to work here either. Well, no matter what, this is going to be the end of it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye-bye.